So, up first, being present for the birth of your child is a incredibly important and fulfilling experience. For right now, I think a lot of parents are feeling very conflicted with the realities that a lot of hospitals are not allowing fathers to be in the room with their significant others as they are giving birth to the child. So the rule, which according to, I want to get this right. So the rule, which according to the New York Post was reportedly put in place to help stop the spread of COVID-19, was met with a lot of criticism. And the New York Midwives Group warned that such a restriction could potentially lead to more people giving birth at home. Expectant fathers and others are petitioning to end the ban on birthing partners and support persons. So the concern for midwives is that parents are going to choose to birth from home so that both parents can be present, but that may not be the best birthing plan for all mothers that are giving birth.
Yeah.
So, what do you think? I mean, the question is like, is it fair to deprive dads and others of experiencing the birth of their child? I will just say, just off rip, before I even throw it to y'all, like, I think the word fair in the context of the world we're in right now kind of doesn't really apply. Like, you know, it's like, that's, to me, that's not really, it's just like more so, what do we, how can
we
how
do?
How about this?
Yeah,
Let me rephrase
like-
the question. What if it was, if seeing your child be born could cause someone to die, would you want to do it?
Yeah,
That's a
I
very
think
good
most
question.
fathers and mothers, Tam, tell me if I'm wrong, but wouldn't you rather see your child live the rest of their life versus just seeing the moment of birth? Like, I would try to think the long haul of keeping my family safe, of keeping my child safe. I don't know if you guys heard the story about the guy that tried to hide his symptoms.
Yeah.
And his wife ended up getting COVID.
Yeah.
She was,
And I have
don't know
another.
if she made it or not.
I have a friend who was sharing a hospital room because she had complications with her stomach, and she and the person sharing the room split by a curtain. They were there for whatever unknown reasons, and she had no visitors because she's visiting here, so she's stuck at the hospital here, and she had no visitors coming in. And the other person was having visitors, so they had, in a span of 2 weeks, maybe about 10 to 15 visitors, and they both ended up getting COVID. So I'm just saying it can be that visceral. It can be that,
Well, I mean,
quick to happen.
I feel like it just plain sucks because we all understand why, they have to do this. And yeah, there are ways of seeing the birth, maybe, somebody can FaceTime one of the nurses or doctors. For me, just experiencing birth, it's, especially if it's your first child, you want that like moral support. And sometimes the birth just does not go as planned.
And you want an advocate in the room too. Like, I know there's mothers who are so, drugged up, et cetera, that they can't necessarily make the best decision at the time.
That's right.
And I remember I threw up like 3-4 times, and I did exactly what I was supposed to do, not eat when I had to take the medicine because I had 2 C-sections. And I remember just vomiting, and I felt like I was going to choke. And I remember had my doula in there. She kind of helped turn me over. And then I saw Adam's face, and just having his presence there made me feel safe. So you can imagine being in this room, giving birth for the first time, seeing all these, in a hospital room, it's not as, it's not as warm, and you're looking at all these people you don't know, and it's scary. I understand why we have to do it, and it sucks. I feel for the mom, and then also obviously, you feel for the husband or the partner not physically being able to.
Tam, I have a question. If bringing your partner or your husband into the room is the larger issue, is it an option? How easy or how possible is it an option to have a home birth? Obviously, you have to have those people checked out, with your doula and stuff. But is that applicable to everybody?
No, and it depends on what kind of birth you want. I know for me, I wanted to go as natural as possible, meaning I didn't want an epidural. I ended up getting one. But I didn't want to have a home birth because I am a worrywart, and I would just be stressed out thinking of what could possibly go wrong right now. And the last thing you want to do is be stressed when you are giving birth, because so I think it depends. There are women that's what they want, and it's a great experience for them.
Yeah.
Like you, Adrian, you want to do that?
I would love to have a home birth. I mean, that would be the goal, but things happen, and I would hope that everything would go safely, but you don't know that. So I wouldn't encourage someone who may have health issues, or they've been told that this is not something that's recommended for them, but because they want the father there, they're going to go ahead and take this risk. There are risks to having a home birth, because God forbid if you end up in a situation where the baby's umbilical cord is wrapped around their neck. There's so many different things that cause for emergency C-sections, and that becomes a lot more difficult when you're at home.
You know what? This is the thing. I think we've been talking about this for a while, how we are going to have to change our mindset as a country, because there are things that's just different. Life will never be the same. I don't care how much we try to get back to normal. And, our healthcare workers are putting their lives at risk every day. Yeah. I understand that you want to be there for your baby, and that in the past used to be that way. But you got to remember, that healthcare worker is going to have your baby. Then they got to go to another room and have another baby, and then another room to go to have another baby. So I just think that it's just a mindset. Back in the 50s and 60s, dads wasn't even in the delivery room. They would wait outside and then smoke cigars and all that kind of stuff, but this is a pandemic. And we have to think differently. And sometimes the things that we normally do, we have to, for all of us to be safe. And I just, I'm like, the healthcare workers, I'm for them. And it's like, you have to trust those. Now, this is the problem, is that, there are some people that don't trust the healthcare workers and the doctors. So you got to make sure you got a good doctor that you can trust. And maybe, I think as the restrictions ease, maybe they can test the father before for
That's
COVID.
what I was thinking. Maybe
we don't even have enough testing right now for the people who are actually sick.
I'm talking about further down.
I mean, my husband on Insecure, Wade, Elaine Marcus, him and his wife are 2 days overdue. I mean, they're like about to have this baby in the middle of this quarantine, and they've had to completely shift their birthing plan, but they also understand like this is kind of just what you have to do. And especially, I know, Tam, as a mother, you don't want to bring the baby in with stress. So you kind of like have to just deal with it. But all of it ends up being, I think, just the thought process of what are the ways that we're adjusting. I mean, listen, we changed the entire TSA thing forever based on 9/11 and what happened that one day. So we can't necessarily be surprised about the fact that there's going to be big changes that happen, considering something that's still going on.